The neon rain fell in sheets across New Eden Colony, each drop carrying traces of atmospheric pollutants that made the puddles shimmer with an unnatural purple glow. Reese Blackwood watched through his neural-enhanced vision as the droplets traced patterns down his armor's stealth coating. The quiet of the night was deceptive. His augmented senses detected movement in the ruins ahead. "Target spotted in Sector 7, Lieutenant Walsh's voice crackled through his neural comm. "Confirmed luminary biosignature. Engage and eliminate." Reese acknowledged with a silent neural pulse. As part of the elite Phantom unit, he'd eliminated countless luminaries, the bioluminescent humanoid species that humanity had been fighting for control of New Eden for the past decade. Their natural ability to manipulate light energy made them formidable opponents, but tonight something felt different. The target moved with unusual precision, almost as if they were leading him away from something. His neural implants flared with warning signals as a burst of pure light energy grazed his shoulder. The luminary fighter emerged from the shadows, tall, graceful, with skin that seemed to absorb the neon rain, only to release it in subtle patterns of light. Her eyes locked with his, glowing with an intense amber hue. "You're not like the others," she said, her voice carrying an otherworldly resonance. "You hesitated." Reese raised his pulse rifle but didn't fire. "Neither are you. That shot could have killed me." "I'm Nyara Voss," she said, lowering her light-charged hands, "and I need your help." "Why would I help a luminary rebel?" "Because what I'm about to show you will change everything you think you know about this war." She projected a holographic display from her palm, classified military files showing human scientists experimenting on captured luminaries, harvesting their bioluminescent organs to create enhanced soldiers. Reese's neural implants burned as they processed the information. "This can't be real." "Your own enhancements. They're powered by my people's life force. We weren't the aggressors, Reese Blackwood. We were the resources they needed to create soldiers like you." An explosion rocked the building behind them. Through the debris, Reese spotted his squad approaching. Lieutenant Walsh's voice cut through his comm. "Target acquired. Blackwood, eliminate the rebel." Time seemed to slow as Reese processed his options. His neural programming screamed for compliance, but something deeper, something human, pushed back. "They're coming for both of us now," Nyara said quietly. "What's it going to be, soldier?" Reese made his choice. With precise movements, he disabled his neural tracker and fired 3 shots past Nyara, creating the impression of a firefight. "Run, Northeast Tunnel Complex. I'll find you." She hesitated for a moment, her amber eyes studying him intently. "Why?" "Because you're right, I'm not like the others." He turned to face his approaching squad. "Go." As Nyara disappeared into the shadows, Reese prepared his cover story. He'd blame system malfunctions, crashed neural networks, anything to buy time. For the first time in years, his actions weren't guided by programming or protocol, but by something his enhanced systems couldn't quantify: hope. Lieutenant Walsh reached him first, weapon raised. "Report, Blackwood, where's the target?" "Neural systems crashed during pursuit," Reese lied smoothly, his military conditioning making his voice steady. "Lost visual in the interference from the rain. Request permission to lead a sweep of the northeast sector." Walsh studied him through his visor. "Granted, but command wants results. These rebels are getting bold, hitting our research facilities. They know something." "They know everything asterisk," Reese thought, but kept his expression neutral. "I'll find them, sir." As his squad moved out to sweep the sector, Reese felt the weight of his decisions settling in. He'd been engineered to be the perfect soldier, but no amount of neural programming could override the fundamental question that Nyara had awakened in him. What if everything he'd fought for was built on a foundation of lies? The neon rain continued to fall, but now each drop felt like a countdown. He had hours, maybe days, before his deception was discovered. Hours to find Nyara, to learn the truth, to decide if he was willing to burn everything he'd ever known for a cause he barely understood. In the distance, he caught a glimpse of amber light Nyara, waiting in the shadows. His neural implants registered her as a threat. But for the first time, Reese chose to see with his own eyes instead of through the lens of his programming. Whatever truth awaited in those tunnels, he knew this night would either be his salvation or his downfall. And somehow, stepping into that uncertainty felt more right than all the orders he'd ever followed. The abandoned research facility stretched beneath New Eden Colony like a maze of broken promises. Reese's neural enhancements cut through the darkness, mapping their path through the twisted corridors, while Nyara's natural bioluminescence cast shifting patterns across the walls. "Your light," Reese whispered, watching the ethereal glow pulsing beneath her skin. "Can you control it?" Nyara smiled faintly, dimming her natural radiance. "It responds to emotion. Right now, it's uncertain, like me." She studied him with those amber eyes. "Why did you really help me, Reese?" Before he could answer, his neural implants flared with warning signals. "Patrol drones, 3 units heading this way." He reached for his weapon, but Nyara caught his arm. "There's another way." She pressed her palm against the wall, sending pulses of light through ancient circuitry. A hidden door slid open, revealing a chamber filled with derelict research equipment. Inside, holographic displays flickered to life, responding to Nyara's presence. The room held secrets, countless data streams about Project Starfall, the classified program that had started the war. Reese's enhanced vision processed the information faster than any normal human could, but each revelation felt like a knife twisting in his gut. "Dr. Adrian Pierce," Nyara said, accessing a personnel file. "She was the lead scientist who discovered our light manipulation abilities could be harvested to enhance human soldiers, but she disappeared 3 years ago." Reese's neural network pinged with recognition. "Pierce, I remember her. She used to oversee our enhancement procedures, always looked haunted." Because she knew the truth, Nyara's light patterns shifted to a deep blue of sorrow. "Each enhancement required the death of one of my people. She couldn't live with it anymore." A distant explosion rocked the facility. Lieutenant Walsh's voice cut through Reese's calm. "All units converge on Sublevel 3. We have confirmation of rebel activity." Reese disabled his comm, but not before catching the coordinates. "They're heading for the Central Archive. What else are you hiding down here, Nyara?" Hope, she moved to another console, her fingers dancing across the holographic interface. "Pierce didn't just disappear," she defected. "She's been working with the Resistance, developing a way to reverse the enhancement process without killing the host." The implications hit Reese like a physical blow. "You mean?" "You don't have to be what they made you," Nyara said softly. "None of you do." Before Reese could respond, a new figure emerged from the shadows, another luminary, his skin crackling with aggressive red energy patterns. "Step away from him, Nyara. He's still one of them." "Commander Stark," Nyara moved between them. "Reese is different. He's helping us." "Is he?" Stark's voice was cold. "Or is he leading his squad right to our doorstep?" Reese's enhanced senses detected multiple luminary signatures surrounding them. "I disabled my tracker. If my squad's coming, it's not because of me." "We have a mole," Nyara realized. "Someone in the Resistance." Another explosion, closer this time. Through the chaos, Reese caught sight of tactical units converging on their position. Leading them was a familiar figure, Major Harrison, his former commanding officer. "Reese Blackwood," Harrison's voice boomed through the corridor. "Your neural readings have been irregular. Time to come in for recalibration." Stark raised his hands, ready to attack, but Reese moved first. With enhanced speed, he sealed the blast doors, buying them precious seconds. "There's a maintenance shaft," he said, already formulating escape routes. "It leads to the old power plant if we can." "Why should we trust you?" Stark demanded. Reese met his gaze steadily. "Because I've seen enough to know that everything I fought for was a lie, and because—" He looked at Nyara, seeing not an enemy but a person, beautiful, fierce, and fighting for her people's survival. "Because some things are worth burning your whole world down for." Nyara's light patterns shifted to a warm gold, and for a moment, Reese felt something resonate within his enhanced systems, not programming, but pure, unfiltered emotion. "The shaft," Stark conceded. But know this, human, one wrong move, and I'll end you myself. They moved through the darkness, Nyara's light guiding their way while Reese's neural systems mapped their escape. Behind them, Harrison's forces breached the blast doors, but they were already gone, three shadows racing through the underground arteries of a dying colony. As they ran, Reese felt his neural programming fighting against his choices, trying to force compliance. But each time he looked at Nyara, each time he saw her light painting hope across the darkness, he chose rebellion again. "There's a resistance safe house in the old industrial sector," Stark said as they emerged from the shaft. "Pierce is there. She's been waiting for someone like you, Blackwood, a soldier willing to question orders." "And now?" Reese asked, feeling the weight of his choice settling around him like armor. "Now," Nyara said, her hand finding his in the darkness, "we show the world the truth, all of it." The neon rain still fell above them, but here in the depths of New Eden's underground, something else was falling. The walls between species, between programming and free will, between duty and truth. As they moved through the shadows between stars, Reese realized that his neural enhancements couldn't classify what he was feeling. Perhaps that was exactly why it mattered so much. Dr. Adrian Pierce's safe house was a testament to desperation, medical equipment cobbled together from stolen parts, walls lined with research data, and the ever-present hum of generators keeping their location off the grid. The scientist herself was nothing like Reese remembered. Gone was the pristine lab coat and clinical detachment, replaced by someone whose eyes held equal measures of brilliance and guilt. "The enhancement process can be reversed," Pierce explained, studying Reese's neural readings. "But it's not just about removing the technology. Your entire nervous system has been fused with luminary energy. Separating it could kill you." Nyara's light patterns flickered with concern. "There has to be another way." "There might be." Pierce pulled up a holographic display of Reese's neural architecture. "But we need access to the original research data from Project Starfall. Everything's stored in the military's central database." Commander Stark, who had been silently watching from the shadows, stepped forward. "Impossible. Security's too tight even for our best infiltrators." "Not for me." Reese's enhanced systems were already calculating possibilities. "I still have high-level clearance. If I go back, pretend the neural irregularities were temporary." "No," Nyara's voice was sharp, her light pulsing with anxiety. "Harrison knows something's wrong. It's too dangerous." A new voice cut through their discussion. "She's right." Lieutenant Walsh emerged from a hidden entrance, weapon lowered but ready. Behind him, several resistance fighters held him in their sights. "But you don't have a choice anymore." Reese moved instinctively to shield Nyara, but Walsh raised his hands in surrender. "I'm not here to fight. I'm here because Harrison has lost his mind. He's planning to activate Protocol Zero." Pierce went pale. "That's not possible. The ethics committee shut it down." "What's Protocol Zero?" Stark demanded. "A failsafe," Walsh explained. "If the enhanced soldiers ever turned against their programming, a neural pulse would trigger. Total neural collapse," Pierce finished. "Not just for the soldiers, but for any luminary within range. The pulse would react with their natural energy, causing a cascade failure. Millions would die." Reese felt his enhanced systems struggling to process the implications. "When?" "Tomorrow at dawn. Harrison's convinced the brass that the rebellion is too dangerous to contain. He's calling it a final solution." Walsh looked at Pierce. "That's why I helped you escape 3 years ago, Doctor. I knew where this was heading." Stark's energy crackled with rage. "You knew. All this time you were helping the resistance." "Only Pierce," Walsh admitted. "I couldn't risk more, but now—" He turned to Reese. "You were always different, Blackwood, even before these neural irregularities. That's why I let you go that night in the ruins." Nyara moved closer to Reese, her light synchronizing with his neural patterns in a way that made his enhanced senses sing. "We need a plan." "I have one," Pierce said, "but it's going to require something impossible, humans and luminaries working together." The next hours were a blur of preparation. Pierce and Walsh provided detailed intel about the facility's defenses. Stark reluctantly mobilized his resistance cells. And through it all, Reese felt himself being pulled in two directions, his neural programming fighting against his growing connection to Nyara and everything she represented. During a quiet moment, they found themselves alone in Pierce's makeshift lab. Nyara's light had dimmed to a soft glow that matched the emergency strips along the floor. "If this works," she said softly, "you might lose your enhancements, you might lose everything that makes you different." Reese touched her cheek, watching as her light responded to his presence. "These enhancements don't make me different, Nyara. You do. You showed me there was more to life than following orders, more to existence than perfect neural compliance. And if we fail, then we fail together," he smiled. "My neural systems can't compute the probability of success. Maybe that's a good thing. Some choices shouldn't be about calculations." Their moment was interrupted by Pierce's urgent call. "They're moving Protocol Zero's timeline up. Harrison must suspect something. We have 3 hours." As they gathered their weapons and prepared for what might be their final mission, Reese looked around the room. Walsh, the decorated officer, now turned traitor to save millions. Stark, the resistance leader, learning to trust his former enemy. Pierce, the scientist seeking redemption for her part in starting this war. And Nyara, whose light had somehow illuminated the humanity buried beneath years of neural programming. "Whatever happens," Stark said, checking his energy weapons, "the truth about Project Starfall needs to reach the public. The experiments, the harvesting, all of it." "It will," Walsh promised. "I've already prepared data packets for every major news network. We just need to prevent that pulse." As they moved out into the neon-lit darkness of New Eden streets, Reese felt a strange peace settle over his enhanced systems. For the first time since receiving his neural implants, all his internal warnings had fallen silent. Perhaps his programming recognized what his heart already knew, that some battles were worth fighting, even against impossible odds. Nyara fell into step beside him, her light a beacon in the darkness. "Ready." Reese checked his weapons one last time, feeling the weight of every choice that had led him here. "Ready to end this war. Ready to find out who I am without these enhancements. Ready for whatever comes next, as long as you're there to light the way." Above them, the first hints of dawn began to color the toxic sky. They had hours to prevent a genocide, expose a conspiracy, and maybe, just maybe, forge a future where humans and luminaries could exist together in peace. It was time to find out if love really could overcome programming, if truth could outshine lies, and if the light of understanding could finally break through the shadows of fear. The military complex loomed before them, its stealth barriers rippling like oil on water. Reese's neural enhancements mapped every security measure, while Nyara's light-bending abilities kept their strike team hidden in the pre-dawn shadows. "Security hub is on level 5, Walsh whispered, leading them through a maintenance tunnel. "Harrison will be in the neural control center 2 levels below that." Pierce worked quickly on her tablet. "I can disable the outer defenses, but the inner protocols," she looked at Reese. "They're keyed to enhanced neural signatures. It has to be you." "And me," Nyara said firmly. "My light energy can disrupt their sensors." Commander Stark positioned his resistance fighters. "We'll create a diversion on the west side, just don't make me regret trusting humans." They split into teams, each with a crucial role. As Reese and Nyara made their way through the facility's depths, his neural systems began detecting familiar signatures, other enhanced soldiers, their programming still intact, still loyal. "Blackwood," a voice called out. Private Torres, a young soldier from his old unit, rounded the corner. "Sir, you're back. Medical said your neural patterns were." Reese moved without thinking, catching Torres in a sleeper hold before he could raise the alarm. "I'm sorry," he whispered as the young soldier lost consciousness. "You'll understand soon." Nyara touched his arm, her light pulsing with sympathy. "You can't save everyone." "No," he agreed, "but we can save their future." They reached the neural control center just as Stark's diversion rocked the western wing. Through the reinforced windows, they could see Harrison preparing Protocol Zero's activation sequence. "His neural signature," Pierce said through their comm. "It's wrong, completely altered." Reese studied his former commander through enhanced vision. He's not just enhanced, he's something else. Harrison turned, his movements unnaturally smooth. Correct, Blackwood. Project Starfall wasn't just about creating better soldiers. It was about transcendence. His skin rippled with embedded luminary energy, twisted and corrupted. Humanity's next evolution. You're harvesting my people to become gods. Nyara's light flared with rage. To survive, Harrison's voice distorted. Earth is dying, the colonies are failing. Only by combining our species can humanity endure. Those who resist are obsolete. He slammed his hand on the activation panel. Warning lights flooded the facility. Protocol Zero isn't just a weapon, it's selection pressure. The enhanced will survive. The rest. Evolution requires sacrifice. Reese's neural systems screamed as the pulse began building. He could feel it trying to rewrite his programming, pushing him to accept Harrison's twisted vision. But something else pushed back. The genuine connection he'd formed with Nyara, the humanity he'd reclaimed through choice rather than programming. Pierce, he shouted through the comm. The reversal protocol, do it now. It could kill you, she protested. Better dead than a monster, he growled, fighting against his own enhancement's attempts to submit to Protocol Zero. Nyara's light suddenly enveloped him, syncing with his neural patterns. Not alone, she whispered, together. Pierce initiated the reversal as Harrison lunged for them. What followed was a battle on two fronts, physical and neural. Reese fought against both Harrison's superhuman strength and his own failing enhancements. Nyara's light kept him anchored, her energy helping his body accept the reversal while rejecting Protocol Zero's influence. You can't stop evolution. Harrison's form began to deteriorate, the stolen luminary energy consuming him from within. This isn't evolution. Reese stood firm, feeling his enhancements burning away, replaced by something more genuine, a true connection to the light Nyara shared. It's extinction. The reversal protocol reached its peak. Throughout the facility, enhanced soldiers collapsed as their neural programming broke down. Harrison's twisted form finally gave out, the corrupted energy dissipating into harmless light. In the aftermath, Reese discovered something extraordinary. He could still sense Nyara's light, not through artificial enhancements, but through the genuine bond they'd formed. Other soldiers reported similar experiences, a natural empathy with luminary energy replacing their forced neural connections. It's beautiful, Pierce said, studying the readings. Your bodies adapted on their own, finding a natural harmony instead of the forced integration we designed. Real evolution, not artificial transcendence. As dawn broke over New Eden Colony, Walsh began transmitting the truth about Project Starfall to every network. Stark ordered his resistance fighters to help the recovering soldiers, recognizing that healing could only begin with cooperation. Reese stood with Nyara on the facility's roof, watching the toxic clouds begin to clear for the first time in years. What happens now? He asked. She took his hand, her light mixing with the natural energy he now carried. Now we build something new, something real. Around them, the first true light of morning painted the colony in colors of hope. As humans and luminaries began the long process of learning to trust, to heal, and to grow together. 1 year later, the gardens of New Unity shimmered with both natural and luminary light, a living testament to what cooperation could achieve. Where toxic rain once fell, carefully engineered biodomes now supported earth plants growing alongside luminescent flora from the luminary homeworld. Reese walked among the paths, his body still adjusting to its new normal. Like many former enhanced soldiers, he developed a natural sensitivity to luminary energy, not the forced neural connection of before, but something organic and mutual. He could sense Nyara before he saw her, teaching a group of human and luminary children how to harmonize their natural energies. The light exists in all of us, she was saying, her own glow gentle and encouraging. It's not about control or power, it's about understanding. The children watched in wonder as she helped them find their own inner light, humans learning to recognize their latent energy, luminaries learning to share theirs safely. It was a far cry from the forced harvesting of Project Starfall. "Ready for the council meeting?" Reese asked as the lesson ended. Nyara nodded, her light patterns shifting to show both determination and slight anxiety. Pierce's latest research could change everything. The council chamber had once been Harrison's neural control center. Now it served as a meeting place for both species, its harsh military aesthetics softened by living light installations. Commander Stark and Lieutenant Walsh sat together, once enemies now co-leaders of New Eden's Joint Security Force. Dr. Pierce stood at the presentation area, her guilt transformed into tireless work for peace. "The harmonic resonance we observed in the survivors of Protocol Zero," Pierce began. "It's not just an anomaly, it's our natural state." She displayed genetic models showing the gradual changes in both populations. "Humans and luminaries didn't evolve separately. We diverged from common ancestors. The compatibility of our energy patterns isn't accident, it's memory." "Which explains why forced neural enhancement failed," Walsh added. "You can't force what should develop naturally." Stark leaned forward, "And the children being born now are showing increased natural harmony with both species' energy patterns," Pierce confirmed. "Not hybrid, not enhanced, but evolved, returning to what we perhaps should have been all along." The implications rippled through the chamber like waves of light. Other colonies were already requesting information about New Eden's transformation, seeking to repair their own damaged relationships between species. After the meeting, Reese and Nyara walked to their favorite spot, a high garden overlooking the city. The neon rain of the past had given way to clean water, though some said that in certain lights, you could still see it shimmer with remembered colors. "I found my old neural enhancement logs today," Reese said quietly. "Reading through my mission reports, my perfectly calculated decisions. I barely recognized that person." Nyara's light swirled with affection. "That person led you here. Every choice, even the programmed ones, brought you closer to freedom." She touched his chest, where the remnants of his neural pathways now carried natural light energy. "Besides, I like this version better." "Yeah," he smiled, feeling the familiar warmth of their energies synchronizing. "Even without the superhuman strength and tactical processing." "Especially without those," she laughed. "Now when you burn breakfast, I know it's genuinely your fault." Their moment was interrupted by an urgent call from Walsh. "We've got movement in the outer sectors, 3 ships unregistered." They rushed to the command center, where Stark was already coordinating a response team. The ship's signatures appeared on their screens, more survivors from Earth, drawn by rumors of New Eden's transformation. "They're asking for asylum," Walsh reported. "Their own enhancement programs are failing. They want to know if there's another way." Reese and Nyara shared a look. They'd been expecting this, more would come, seeking alternatives to forced evolution and artificial transcendence. New Eden wasn't just a colony anymore, it was becoming a symbol of possibility. "Tell them they're welcome," Nyara said firmly. "All of them." As the ships began their landing sequence, Reese watched the sunrise painting the sky in colors that no enhancement could have helped him appreciate. Around them, the city pulsed with combined human and luminary energy, not the harsh, stolen power of before, but a gentle harmony of natural light. "You know," he said, "Harrison was right about one thing. Evolution is inevitable." He took Nyara's hand, their energies dancing together. He just couldn't see that real evolution happens in the heart first. "Very poetic," she teased. "Sure you're not running some secret enhancement for deep thoughts?" "Nope, just naturally profound." Their laughter joined the symphony of light and life that New Eden had become, a place where the boundaries between species faded not through force but through understanding, where love proved stronger than programming, and where the future evolved not in laboratories but in moments of genuine connection. As they prepared to welcome the new arrivals, Reese reflected that perhaps this was always how it should have been. Not a war between light and shadow, but a recognition that everyone carried both within them. Not a forced transcendence, but a patient return to what they had forgotten they could be. Together, they walked toward the landing pads, ready to show others that there was always another way forward, one built not on enhancement or evolution, but on the simple, powerful truth that the greatest changes come when we choose to see the light in each other.